Perfect. So good evening. Welcome to tonight's special workshop. This is part 2, and for some people, part 3, with Keith Leon, who is a multi-best-selling author who owns a successful publishing company and is known as the Book Guy. Keith Leon has appeared on popular radio and television broadcast, and his work has been covered by Inc. magazine, LA Weekly, the Huffington Post, and Succeed magazine, just to name a few. He's spoken at events that have included Jack Canfield, Neil Donald Walsh, Barbara DeAngelis, John Gray, Michael Beckwith, and Marianne Williamson. And we are grateful to have him as a mentor and MC at the Business Acceleration Summit. His passions are teaching people, sorry, Keith, that was part of my email. I didn't find the original bio. So I started reading it. I was like, okay. Where he continues to share his gifts. His passion is teaching people how to go from first thought to bestseller and to create what is called the world's greatest business card. Together with his amazing wife, Maura Leon, he is the co-creator of You Speak It book process, where all you have to do is show up to 7 phone calls and they will create for you a book you'll be proud to call your own. So tonight we are going to how to use your mission, message, and book to grow your business by 300%. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you. Thank you, Shannon. And welcome everybody to the call. Tonight, these are the things that I'm going to teach you. These are the things you'll learn. First, how to develop what I call it, an elevator email, which I really made a career off of elevator email. So this is could be very, very vital to success for you. How to ask people of influence for a live interview. If you know, I did a book called Who You Think You Are, Discover the Purpose of Your Life. All that was interviews that I turned into a book. So how did I get those people to say yes? And the third thing I'm going to teach you is how to overcome the #1 obstacle for book writing. And this is the #1 thing that takes out 99.9% of all authors out of the process. Shannon, can you mute everybody?
Yes.
Also, how to easily turn a book into programs and products. A lot of people are asking me that. How do I just take my book and turn it into programs and products? So we're going to touch on that. And then how to write a book without ever putting pen to paper. Does that sound good? So I've got a lot of great content for you tonight, so I'm just going to press forward here. First, how to develop an elevator email. Back when I was doing the Who Do You Think You Are book process, and I had the title and the subtitle, I thought, how was I going to reach out to all these really well-known people, and how was I going to get them to say yes to working with me? And so I went within, closed my eyes, and I just asked, how am I going to get a hold of all these people? And I waited, and eventually this process dropped in, and I did exactly what I was told, and it worked, and it's been working ever since. So I wanted to give you the format for an elevator email. So first, my definition of what an elevator email is an elevator email is an email where everything you'd like the participant to read can be read without scrolling down at all in the email. So everything shows up in the window. This part of the email should contain the following elements. So write these down. A catchy subject title. A catchy subject title. So when I was interviewing people to be in my book, my subject line was interview request for the next bestseller. You can borrow that if it's about a book that you want to do the interview. And if not, just come up with something really catchy. Hey, Mara, I can really hear that. Next is you want to talk who you are, right? So you say hello to whoever it is, and then who you are. Tell them who you are. Next is where you met. So if you met this person before, tell them, hey, we met at your event a couple weeks ago or back in August. Or maybe you didn't meet them, but you're a big fan of theirs. And you say, hey, I've read all of your books. So basically, how did you meet them? How do you know them? And you want to put that right after who you are. Next, why you are contacting them in the least amount of words possible. So I would like to interview you to be in my book, or I would like to interview you on my podcast, or I would like to interview you to be in my book. Why are you contacting them? Next, what are you doing? I'm writing this book and it's all about life purpose, and I would love to interview you for that. And then who is involved? If you have names already on board, name drop, right? Because what I found with Who Do You Think You Are was once I already had Jack Canfield and I already had Bob Proctor on board, that was 2 people from the movie The Secret. Then I reached out to other people from The Secret, and all of them were, oh, well, if Jack and Bob's on board, then Marcy said yes. Oh, if Jack and Bob and Marcy are on board, then Joe Vitale said yes. Then John Ashraf said yes, and so on and so on. I ended up getting 10 people from the movie The Secret because I dropped names. So what are you doing? Who's involved? Drop names if you can. Next, what exactly is your request? What exactly is your request? Next, what's in it for them if they participate? What's in it for them? Hopefully you're writing all these down, and or maybe you can do a screenshot on your computer. Next, what's the benefit for everyone if they participate? So this is what's in it for you and the kids, right? You'll be helping kids nationwide if it's something to do with children, or you'll be helping the homeless, or you'll be helping the vets, whatever it is. What's the benefit for everyone if they choose to participate? Next, how quick and easy it will be for them to participate. Remember in the last workshop, I was telling you that if you make it really easy for people to say yes, then they will. So you want to tell them how quickly and easily it will be for them to participate. If it's an interview, I say it's just 3 questions, 10 minutes in a conference room. That's it. 3 questions, 10 minutes in a conference room. So that sounds really easy, right? So you can set up a conference room to interview them. You can go to a freeconferencecall.com, I think it is, or No Cost Conference is the one that I used back in the day. And then if you're going to interview them, you'll need permission. Now, this is just an aside. You'll need permission for that interview. So if you don't have it written, or even if you do, sometimes it's hard to get that from people. So while you're recording, before the 3 questions, just say your participation in this book, or in whatever. Yeah, if it's a book, say your participation in this book. You know that the exposure that you'll get is just the exposure from being in the book, and I haven't said that I would pay you any money. Just say anything that you would want legally on the recording before you get started. It's just an aside that's really important. And plus, I just wanted to kind of use a little time while you're trying to write these down. Next, how you would be honored by their participation. I always say that because I would be honored. So I say I would be honored by your participation, and I mean it. And I think it feels good to them because they realize, wow, okay, there's somebody that really appreciates that I'm going to say yes. And then you put your contact information. So your contact information, no problem for it to be below where they actually have to scroll down, right? But with the part of the window where they don't have to scroll down, you have a hello and their name, who you are, where you met, why you're contacting them, what you're doing, your requests specifically, what's in it for them, what's in it for everyone if they choose to participate, how quickly and easily it will be for them to participate, how you'd be honored with their participation, and then put your contact information below. So here is an example of this format. And I'm going to use that with how to ask people of influence for a live interview, right? How to ask people of influence for a live interview. Here's an example that I did with the Who Do You Think You Are book. Dear Joe, my name is Keith Leon. We haven't met yet, but I'm a big fan of your work, and I'm looking forward to meeting you real soon. We hadn't met him yet, but I wanted to meet him, so I put that. The reason for my email is I'm creating an incredible book and would love to include you and your words of inspiration in the book. Let me tell you quickly what it's all about. Quickly. So they're thinking, oh, this isn't going to be long, right? It's all about language. It's called Who Do You Think You Are? Discover the Purpose of Your Life. This book uses a series of 3 inquiry questions to uncover the inspirational stories of successful people and how they were put on their path. This book will help people to discover their purpose in life and to see how they are not so different than those who have already had success. And then I put in parentheses, it'll be done in the format of Chicken Soup for the Soul, short stories, because most people knew that book and I wanted to paint a picture in the least amount of words possible. How am I doing so far? Next, here are just a few of the people who have said, yes, this is my time to name drop. Jack Canfield, David Shermer, John Ashraf, John DeMartini, Dr. John Gray, Hale Dwoskin, Bob Proctor. All those people were from The Secret, right? Then Rudy Rudiger says yes. Then Jack Canfield. Then Stuart Emery, Mark Thompson, Bill Bartman, Christine Comerford Lynch, Terry Cole Whitaker, Rhonda Britton, Craig Shoemaker, Greg Scott Reed, Scott Evans, Armin Moran, Debbie Allen, Patricia Drain. And each time somebody said yes, I added the name, and it just got longer and longer and longer. So once people started seeing all their friends, people that they knew or people that they admire, then everybody became a yes. So I started calling it the Yes Project. Here's the other part of the letter. I'm requesting a phone interview with you. Very clear, right? I'm requesting a phone interview with you, and I'll ask you just 3 questions. It takes 10 minutes to do the interview. I've set up a conference line where I can do the interview and transcribe the interview at a later time. Will you participate in this inspirational book project? We sure would love to have you on board. So that's all the part that was in the window without them having to scroll down, even if I had to go to I think I had to go to a 10-point font to get all that in. No problem. Then the rest, Many Powerful Blessings, Keith Leon, You Speak at Publishing, You Speak at Books, and a quote from Jack Canfield. That's what I put now. I think back then I had a quote from John Gray from my first book, and that was it. And so that format, this elevator email, is what got 68 out of 80 people to say yes, and of the 80, 10 were the publicists who said no, and so only 2 people said no out of 80 people that I asked using this format. So it works. It absolutely works. So take your time while creating this letter. It means everything to your project's success, and if you're contacting the person by phone, you can use your letter as your notes to keep you on track and make your call brief. Now, people who are really successful don't typically have a lot of time to spend on the phone hearing somebody kind of drone on and on about their project. So it's great if you stick exactly to the script when you get on the phone. Now, I want to let you know that if you send this email, this elevator email to somebody, that's one contact. If you follow up immediately on the phone, if you get somebody, great, you can actually talk to them. But most of the time, we get what? Voicemail, right? Great. If you get voicemail, that's 2. Now you have 2 contacts. You got a 2 for 1. And what I learned from my mentor, Jack Canfield, was the power of 7. It takes 7 contacts for somebody to actually realize that we're trying to contact them. So inundated with emails and calls and everything. So if you do 2 each time, so you send the email, you leave a message, then you wait 2 days. The second day. So you skip 1 day, the second day you send it again and make another phone call. 2 days. Send it, make a phone call. So if you started on Monday, you would get 2 on Monday, 2 on Wednesday, 2 on Friday. You're at 6, right? It's only been a week, and the next week when you send out on Monday, you will most likely get a reply and get a yes if you followed this format exactly. So moving on. Here's what it looks like when it's, all together. So I had split it in half. That's what it looks like all together. Shannon, we have somebody at 305 area code. Could you mute them? So this is what it looks like when it's all together. Just wanted you to see that. Excellent. All right, so now you have the elevator email. Moving on, how to overcome the number one obstacle for book writing success. I call it the little liar, right? This is that voice in your head that most people are willing to admit, right? That they have a negative inner critic. You know, the one that says, you know, you can't do this, you'll never amount to anything, or you can't sing, or you're not enough, or you don't have what it takes, or who are you to think about that you can write a book like this, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not strong enough, or I'm not capable, or I'm not, fill in the blank. How many times you've heard that voice in your head? Well, some people call it the inner critic. I've heard it called a lot of things. I call it the little liar, and I'll tell you why. Because it never tells you the truth. It only tells you lies. You, the true core essence of who you are, would never say such things to you. You would only say, you can do anything that you put your mind to. I'm behind you. You can do anything. Pick up the phone. Make a call. So I've developed a tool that I've been sharing with people for years. I've had many thousands of students that have done my programs, and I've taught thousands of people to do this. And every person who did this process has had major transformation with that voice in their head because it will handle it. So moving on. Again, for years now, I've been calling it the little liar. It's not the truth about you. And 99 out of 100 times, it's not even your voice. It's a parent, it's a teacher, it's a sibling, it's the media, right? We're trained by the media from when we were little. I don't know how old you are, but when I was little, there was a commercial that said, you got ring around the collar. Lord forbid you should have a ring around your collar, right? There's dandruff commercials. There's, you gotta have the greatest car and gotta have the greatest house or you're not cool. We've been trained with this for so long. So no wonder we have that little voice in our head. And as I said before, you would never say such things to you. You wouldn't. We've been conditioned by negative statements and energy since the first time that we stood up as a toddler and we reached out to touch something. Our parents immediately said, no, bad, don't touch that. And it just went on from there, right? TV commercials telling us there's something wrong about us. And if we buy their products, everything will be right in the world. And school kids teased us. I don't know about you, but they sure teased me. Parents or school teachers may have verbally abused us. Everywhere we turn, negative feedback. So how much of this could we take before we started to believe it? So the only way to undo years of negative self-talk is to reprogram our subconscious mind with positive feedback. So as long as this voice in your head runs you, you will never write your book. I shared with you already how to deal with writer's block, right? Pissed off inner child. That was a previous workshop. Now this is the last piece. This is that inner critic in your head. And if it's running, at some point, it's going to stop you. So first, we have to identify this little liar. So the first thing I want to do is I want you to name your little liar. And this whole process is not a thinking process. It's a really fast process. Whatever comes to mind first, I just want you to write it down. So name your little liar. Here are some examples. Hardly Harry, Gnarly Carly, Angry Alan, Fearful Frida, Procrastinating Phyllis. I knew a woman named Phyllis one time said, what, are you following me around? Right? She just couldn't believe I chose that because it described her. Judgmental Johnny, that was mine. Screaming Shelley or Worried Wilma. Whatever comes to mind for you in this moment, write it down. What's the name of your little liar? Write it down. All right, so just whatever comes to mind. So now that you have the name of your little liar, I want you to close your eyes for just a moment. Close your eyes and conjure up that little liar. What does he or she look like? What do they look like? Are they really mean? Do they look like a monster? Is it Is it like a floating figure? Is it light? Is it color? What does he or she or it look like? What does he, she, or it sound like? Does it have a really gruff, mad voice? Or does it talk like this? What does your little liar sound like? Just hear its voice. Does it sound like grandma, grandpa, father, teacher? Next, how does this little liar act? Are they really mad and gruff and all pissed off? Or do they talk down to you? Or do they scream? They point their finger at you? How do they act when they're telling you these lies? Just think for a moment. You're very familiar with this voice. So just think for a moment. How do they act? Examples: gets frustrated, quits easily, or criticizes others readily, quick to judge and voice those opinions. Bolsters ego, keeps me from seeing all the great things about me. Keeps me from seeing and meeting people that have the knowledge I seek. Do any of those fit for you? By the way, any of these examples that I use, if they fit, grab them, and you don't have to work as hard. Great, so now you've got a name for your little liar. You know what they look like. You know what they sound like. And you know how they act. This is powerful. Next, I want you to look at this list of words, and I want you to quickly, keyword is quickly, choose 3 of the words and let it be easy. So just scan from the top down the first 3 words that jump out at you. Choose them. And these will be 3 qualities that you either are, or you wish that you were, or you wish that you were more. So back when I did this, I wish that I was more loving, I was more trusting, and I was worthy. Those were the 3 that I chose. So what are these 3 qualities that you would love to be or have? Just choose 3 as quickly as you can. I know there's a lot of words, and sometimes folks like to take a few minutes with this one, but if you just scan, they'll pop out at you. The 3 that you would love to be or have, be more of. And you can always change them later, but for the sake of this process, choose 3 qualities you'd love to be or have and write them down. Let me give you just a few more minutes here. Tried to get all the words that I could think of. Three qualities you'd love to be or have. All right, 10 more seconds. If you don't have them, just grab them really fast. Write them down. It can be any 3. You can always change it. But I'm going to think that in this moment, whatever three you grab are perfect. All right, so those are three qualities that you'd love to be or have. Now, if you were being or having those three qualities, what are two things that you'd be doing? Or how would you be acting when you're being those qualities that you just listed? So I said loving, trusting, and worthy, right? If I was being loving, trusting, and worthy, then what would I be doing or how would I be acting? So here are some examples. I'd be sharing my joy or living in my heart. I want you to either choose two of these or come up with your own. I'd be moving forward fearlessly. Yeah, if I was being loving, trusting, and worthy, I for sure would be doing that. Expressing my truth. Yeah. Speaking to the masses. Maybe you want to be a speaker. That would be a great one for you. Loving myself unconditionally. I love that one. Walking in strength. If I was being loving, trusting, and worthy, or if you were being those three things that you just said, you'd probably be walking in strength. Or how about welcoming all possibilities? Or trusting my intuition? Or leading from example? Or being all that I know I am meant to be? So write down now two things you'd be doing or how you'd be acting if you were being those qualities, those three qualities that you just chose. And again, popcorn style, as quick as you can. If you're not coming up with your own, for the sake of this process, choose two of the ones I have here. Let me give you about 30 more seconds to do that. All right. Two things you'd be doing or how you'd be acting if you were being the qualities listed previously. Now we're going to bring all of this together in a very specific way. What we're creating is what I call a statement of truth. This is the truth about you. So you're going to fill in this template. You're going to start, write I am a, and then write down those three qualities that you came up with. I am a this, this, this. So write those down. And then man or woman, depending on what you are. And then you're going to put the two ways that you'd be being or what you'd be doing if you were being those three. So those two things that I just had you write down, write those down. So I am a blank, blank, blank man, blank, and blank. Give you about 10 more seconds to write those down. And while you're doing that, here's what it sounds like. Here are some examples. I am a joyful, engaged, powerful, and worthy man expressing authenticity and sharing my talents with the world. I am a beautiful, powerful, abundant woman, trusting my knowing and living in my heart. or mine years ago when I did this process a little bit differently. I've definitely made this my own, but what I came up with was I am a loving, trusting, worthy man living in my heart and sharing my joy. And back when I did this, I really did not feel that I was loving. I didn't feel that I was trusting. I certainly didn't feel worthy. But I felt like if I was, I would definitely be living in my heart and sharing my joy. And so I started using this when my little liar would come up. I started using this statement of truth because the way that I just had you do this, quickly choosing them, your subconscious mind grabbed the right words and grabbed those right statements. Your subconscious mind knew exactly what you needed to hear right now. That is the truth about you that would help you reprogram your subconscious mind. So right now, 3 times, I want you to say out loud your statement. So let's start. I am a... Again, I am a... And one more time, like you mean it. Let your neighbors hear you, all right? I am a... This is very interesting. This is the first time that I've done it without people right in front of me. So I'm having to hear you inside of my head. So I have written down here, you will know that you have it when it handles your little liar. So the reason I had you say it out loud 3 times is so that you would kind of get used to it. And so what I want you to do after we're done with this workshop tonight, very, very soon, I want you to say the statement and get to really know it, and then close your eyes and conjure up your little liar like I had you do before. Conjure it up, right? See it in front of you, and then say the statement. And keep saying the statement. And have your little liar keep coming at you. Blah, 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 blah. All the stuff that they say. Blah, blah, blah. While you say, I am a loving, trusting, worthy man living in my heart and sharing my joy, or whatever your statement is. That's what mine was. I am a loving, trusting, worthy man living in my heart and sharing my joy. And something will happen, right? Something will happen. So you conjure up the little liar, you use your statement of truth over and over again until something happens to your little liar. I've heard about little liars catching on fire, goes up in a poof of smoke, right? Mine turns into a pile of dust, like on the TV show. I don't know if you ever watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but whenever they would slay a vampire, poof, it would turn into a pillar of dust. That's what came up for me. That's what I saw visually. Yours might turn into a little baby and you just love it and give it compassion. It doesn't have to be something violent. It can be sweet. But whatever happens, as long as it handles the little liar, right? Maybe yours just loses its voice. Or nothing comes out when it's trying to talk to you. Or maybe it just disappears. Or it shakes its head, walks away, and it goes on to pick on somebody else. Maybe it turns into a flower or into love. Whatever happens to your little liar, that's different for everyone. There's no right or wrong as long as what happens handles the little liar. You feel in your power and back on track after saying it. That's when you know you have it. Because this is the truth about you, and it empowers you to remember who you really are. This is a statement of truth. This is the truth about you. And when you're being those qualities, right? When you're actually truly being those qualities, you'd be doing those things. So knowing that this will only help you in your life and your business, but it will serve you when you're writing your book. Because if you're writing and then a little liar shows up, you'll notice and you'll turn right to your truth statement and it'll handle the little liar right there, and then you can go back to writing. This is a great tool for writing, but it's also a great tool for during a meeting. I had a businessman who was in a meeting with all these people, and somebody made a face that normally would have taken him right out of the meeting. He said, I would have just like made up all kinds of things that they were saying about me, and I would have got in my head about it, and it would have just took me out of the meeting. But instead, I just started saying my truth statement in my head, and then I got right back in my power, and I came as strong. And it didn't matter what face he made because I knew the truth about me. So this is very powerful. Here's my challenge. If you like to reprogram your subconscious mind, I mean, get rid of this little liar voice forever, you will say this statement of truth 100 times a day for the next 30 days. And 33 days would be extra credit if you really want to do that. It is said that the subconscious mind can be reprogrammed with 30 days of 100 times a day. And I know this is true because it's worked for me and so many people before me. So you're thinking 100 times a day, what are you, out of your mind, Keith? Are you out of your mind? Well, here's the good news. That subconscious mind doesn't care if you're all fancy and fancy schmancy about it. Here's how I did it. While I was driving to work, I put my fingers over the steering wheel and I used my fingers and I said, I am a loving, trusting, worthy man living in my heart and sharing my joy. I'm a loving, trusting, worthy man living in my heart and sharing my joy. I'm a loving, trusting, worthy man living in my heart and sharing my joy. I'm a loving, trusting, worthy man living in my heart and sharing my joy. I'm a loving, trusting, worthy man living in my heart and sharing my joy. That's 5, right? And I went through and I did it 100 times before I even got to work. You can do 100 of these in the shower. And believe me, after 1 day or 2 days of doing it 100 times, you'll know it by heart. So you can do it really fast like that. And so don't worry if for some reason you miss a day, just start over again from day 1. Because yes, it must be 30 consecutive days. But there is freedom, absolute freedom for you if you're willing to do the work. 100 times a day for 30 days, and it will be very rare that this little liar comes up for you. And by then you'll be so kind of used to the statement and used to knowing the voice, what your little liar looks like, how it sounds, that if it ever does show up, you'll see it so quickly. Ah, there you are. And you'll say your statement of truth 1 or 2 times and poof, it'll disappear. So this little liar voice in the head is what takes out so many authors, so many people in their life. So I just wanted to share this incredible tool with you on this call. It's a powerful tool. I love sharing that. Next, I want to share with you how you can easily turn a book into 11 programs and products. Does that sound good? You've already done the work if you've written the book. It's just about repurposing and repackaging the book into programs and products. And the ways that you can do this is, okay, I've got some text here. If you self-publish, you publish with us, you don't have any limitations regarding how you can reuse your content. The possibilities are endless. Instead of going through the effort of writing another book, consider recycling or repackaging your book content in different ways. People learn in different ways, and by repackaging, you can create multiple products and meet their needs with minimal effort. For example, from one book in print, you could easily create up to 11 different products. First is an ebook. Everybody knows about that. But now there's kind of 2 different types of ebooks. There's an ebook, which is the PDF file that you made for the printer to turn it into to the book for you, right? It's just the PDF file. This can be used for marketing. If you're wanting to get on TV or radio and they want you straight away, they want to see a copy of your book, you don't have time to mail the book to them, right? So you can send them a PDF quickly of the ebook. Another thing you could use it for marketing. You can give it as a free giveaway. There's so many things you could do with that PDF file. So a lot of people have asked me over the years, like, how can I protect my PDF? And I say, don't. Give it away for free every day, anytime, any place, because if someone likes your ebook, they'll start to read it. And if they love it, they'll go buy the physical book, right? If they love it, they will tell others about it. So consider it free marketing and free advertising for you. Don't protect your ebook. Give it away all day long. There's just nothing better than people saying, hey, have you read this book? And then they send them on to Amazon to buy it. Next type of ebook is a Kindle book. So you can take that and we can do a Kindle layout for you, because it is a completely different layout, just so you know. A Kindle file is what's called a Mobi file, and it's a digital file created in a different way, so that if somebody has a Kindle reader, they're able to increase the font size, increase the page size. They can manipulate what the file looks like within the system. And so a regular PDF won't do that. So Kindle layout, completely separate. We can do a Kindle layout and put it up on Kindle for you. It's a service that we provide, but I want you to know it is separate from the PDF. So a lot of people throw around the word ebook. Ebook really is the PDF file that you can just send to people. Kindle book is the one specifically made for the Kindle reader, just for clarity. 3, an audiobook. You know, some people don't want to read the book. They actually prefer you to read it to them. Audiobooks are really, really increasing in popularity again. Back in the day, they were popular, and then they went away for a long time, and now people are listening to audiobooks again. So really a good idea to do an audiobook. 4, speaking or seminars. Take your topic out to the speaking circuit. Tell people what you know in person, right? Sharing about your book topic from the stage is really the best way to grow your business. Speak, speak, speak. Anytime, any place, anywhere. If someone will listen, be speaking. Number 5, video training. So get a video camera or use Zoom like we're using right now, and you can show people how to do the things described in your book. Many nonfiction titles lend themselves to video. If you wrote a gardening book, for example, right, you could create a video series on how to prune roses, include worksheets and processes for participants to do in the workshop. And then now you can sell a video of your presentation online or on DVD. You can post it up on YouTube, or you can sell it as your home study course. So video training's really, really popular right now. And let it be based exactly on your book. Whatever your book is about, that's what you make your training about. It's okay to do the same exact content. Audio programs, same thing. Take the audio from anything that you've videotaped, your videotaped presentation, and you can also make it available as audio. And if you want to create a DVD CD set, then you're able to do that, because you've got the video with the audio, and then you've got just the audio. And that way, if somebody's watching the DVD and they have to stop at a certain point and go on an appointment, they can grab the CD, pop that in their car, right, and listen to the CD as they drive and pick up where they left off. A lot of people are using MP3s now, so maybe you want to go MP3 as well. Regardless, audio, another great way to keep moving your product. Next, workbooks or worksheets. So now you have the video, now you have the audio. You can have somebody transcribe it and then create a workbook out of it. Now you'll have your video, audio, and transcription, or video, audio, and workbook package. Have you seen that, where you're at a live event and somebody's selling that book that opens up and it's got DVDs and CDs and it's got a workbook in it? Well, you've just done that because you created that one video and then took the audio off of it and then had it transcribed, and then put questions, right, at the end of each part, put questions that they would need to answer and make a workbook out of it. Now you have that product. Audio, video, and workbook products, you could sell it for $197 at a live event. Sell it for $497. I've seen it at all different price points. Whatever works for you. Test different prices and see what people purchase it at and use that. Next, you can take your book subject and you can do teleseminars. You can do webinars like I'm doing right now. You can do podcasts about it. You could have your own radio show based on what your book was about. Next, you can take what your book is about and turn it into your coaching, mentoring, or training program. Teach people how to do the things that you described in your book. If your book is about losing weight, offer a step-by-step course that offers information, support, and encouragement. Just repurpose the book. Now check this out. If you have a 5-chapter book, do a 5-week online video course or Zoom course or even an audio course on Instant Teleseminar, right? Do a 5-week course based on the book. And I just talk about, let's say chapter 1 is about walking down the street, okay? Chapter 1's all about walking down the street. Week 1, I'm going to talk about walking down the street, and I'm going to talk about exactly what was in the book. And then I'm going to give them a little bit more, something that wasn't in the book, and then I'm going to give them homework. And then the next week, week 2, whatever the chapter was, week 2, that's what I'm going to talk about. And exactly what was in the book. Then I'm going to give them a little more, and then I'm going to give them homework. Do that for however many chapters you have in the book, or I really think 5 is a great number, 5 to 7 weeks. And do that each week, exactly what was in the book, a little bit more, and then homework, and record those calls. If you're going to take questions, going to do any Q&A, do it at the very end and make sure you stop the recording before you take any questions. I'll tell you why. Because then you have your teaching all recorded and you don't have people talking about their personal stuff, their proprietary book that they didn't want anybody to know about. You're not having to get permission to use people's information, their name, whatever they talked about. You don't want any of that on your recording. So as long as you do those recordings, stop. Then after you've completed that course, now you can take all of that video or all of that audio and turn it into your home study course. So now you can either continue to do that training online, and that'll be your online course that you could do quarterly. Let's say your online course is $997, right? And it's a 7-week or a 5-week course. If you go to sell that course and you see people go, oh, like that's too much money, then you could say, well, what if you could do the same exact course, but you could do it from your home? And what if you could do it for $197? You may see them perk up and be like, yeah, I could do that. Great, then you can sell them your home study course. So now you've got your group mentor course, your home study course, and if you want to work with people one-on-one, you could do personal mentoring with them. So that's going to be your high ticket item, personal mentoring, based on what the book was about. Group mentor course, next tier down, home study course, DVD, video, audio, workbook, you've got it all covered. And then the last thing is consulting. So if you're an expert in a given area, and you are because you've now created the book, you could also consult people regarding what the book is about. So certain companies might need your expertise. So that's just 11 ways that you could repurpose a book. Just 11. Here are a few bonus ideas. You can take and you can write articles on the topics and then submit those articles into magazines, right? I got into Inc. magazine. I've been in Succeed magazine. I've been in a lot of magazines based on things that I teach, right? So you can use and repurpose this content as articles. You can get into e-zines, which is just an electronic magazine, or newsletters. With these, you can go up and you can go onto Google and you can type in free newsletter content. And sites will come up that provide free newsletter content. Because a lot of people have newsletters, but they can't come up with content every week or every other week. It's just so hard to keep coming up with content. So you can go to these free sites and get free content. Well, put up your article on those free content sites. Then people are using your information in their newsletter or in their e-zine, and also it's showing up on the website so that every time somebody goes and types your name in Google, anything that you've done shows up. So your article will show up on the site, and then if anybody has used it online, it'll show up there too. So when you do the article, make sure to put your name and your contact information on the article so that anytime somebody uses it, that's traced back to you. And another bonus idea is some people do t-shirts, coffee mugs, mouse pads, etc. You can go to Cafe Press, and if you have that type of book, something that you can really make a cool, character out of or make it fun, that's just another way to do it. So there are a lot of ways that you can repurpose a book. And again, it's because you did the work first and got the book done. Once you have the book done, then you're just creating programs and products based on it by repurposing the information in the book. And so people have asked me, well, don't people get mad at you if they've already read the book and then they come to your group mentor course and you're teaching the same thing? Absolutely not. Most people, once they buy the book, not that many have actually read it or read it all the way through. And even if they have read it all the way through, it takes, well, especially if you're a man like me, at least 2 or 3 times of hearing it before it really lands. So they'll actually thank you. Thank you so much for saying that again. I really didn't hear it until you said it that 3rd time. That's when it landed. I thought people would get mad at me, but people actually thanked me for repurposing, thanked me for repeating information. It's amazing. So next, I want to teach you how to write a book with support for the smallest investment. I want to see how we're doing on time. Okay, great. So how do you write a book with support for the smallest investment? And the best way that I know how to do that is to do my home study course, my Bake Your Book home study course. And you can find out exactly what is in the home study course by going to bakeyourbooknow.com. bakeyourbooknow.com. So module 1 is write what you know. And so we really get into what is your book going to be about. And I want you to write something that you already know, because you know some things that other people don't know. And if you write about that, they're going to be so happy that you did, and then they're going to be willing to buy that from you because you're just helping them do what you already know. Module 2, dealing with the little liar. I go through that process again and even talk more about the little liar. Module 3, teach you how to get endorsements, how to get a forward. Module 4, marketing options. What are all the different ways that you can market this book and get the word out there? Module 5, joint venture marketing secrets. How do you get people to say yes to you, to tell their people of influence? People of influence to tell their group, to tell their people. How do you get somebody with a list of 100,000 people or more to tell their people about your book? That's what I'll teach you, how to do that. Module 6, creating you as the expert. What are all the different ways that you can create yourself as the expert? So this is my home study course, and it comes with tons of bonuses. You can read about all of that on bakeyourbooknow.com. The value of the home study course is $2,497, and I had my wife change the price that's normally $995. I had to bring it down to $495. I didn't want you to have to put in a special code. Sometimes people get hung up on that, where they go and you have to put in a special code to get a special price. So we just brought the price down on the main site to $495. So that's the best way that I know to get support to write the book on your own. But perhaps after all the things that I've taught you, you're thinking, I don't have time to write this book. I can't write it on my own. I really would love to write a book without ever having to put pen to paper. And I told you I would show you what that would look like. The way that you can do that is with our You Speak It book program, the easy way to get your book done right. This is the simplest way that I know to write a book that there is. You show up to 7 phone calls, and in that 7 phone calls, we are able to get all the information that we need to create a book for you that you'll be proud of, a book that you could use as your business card. And the first call of the 7 is what we call the roadmap call. So remember I did the roadmap on, maybe you were on the webinar previously where I did the roadmap. Well, we do a version of that where we get clear on this call exactly what your book is going to be about. We'll brainstorm the 5 strongest book chapter titles and all of the book content, and we'll know exactly what your book is going to be by the end of that call. Next, we do recording of all the chapters. So we record the chapters, then we do a transcription of exactly what you said. Then we take that and we edit it, and we go from the spoken word to the written word while keeping your voice. Now, this is very important. A lot of people have editors they're brilliant, and they come in and they put their own words on what you said in their own voice. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep your voice, but we're going to take out the ums and the ahs and places where you stumbled. We're going to make it sound more like a book instead of conversational, but we're going to absolutely keep your voice, because what we want is that when people finish your book, they come to you and say, it was like I could hear you reading the book to me. Like I could hear your voice while I was reading it. And we hear that so much from our clients, which is really, really cool. So after the editing, that's where we move it into proofreading. Now, proofreadings are the wonder of the world. I love proofreaders. They can read books really, really fast. And if one comma is out of place, it jumps off the page and it slaps them, right? So we have proofreaders just make sure that everything has been caught. Once we go through the proofreading, then that's where we do the interior design, also known as layout. That's what makes the Word document look like a book. It has page numbers, table of contents, and chapter titles, and everything that you need for it to look like a book. Then we do the book cover for you, and then we put your book up on Amazon for you with a sister company of Amazon called CreateSpace, which is a print-on-demand company. And thank God for print-on-demand. It used to be that we had to order thousands of books to get a really great price on books. Now, with print-on-demand, you can get wholesale cost, whether you order 25 books or 1,000. It's the same wholesale price. So incredible. And when your book is on Amazon, somebody purchases your book, they will make the book, ship the book, and then give you a percentage of the sale, and you never had to lick a stamp. Oh, I love print on demand. So we'll set you up with that, give you a UPC barcode. Your first 20 books are delivered to your doorstep. And so this is a very specific book. It's 15 to 25,000 word manuscript, 120 to 140 page book, 5 1/4 by 8. That's if you want to use your book as a business card to grow your business. That is the perfect size. Now, if you are doing a legacy book, or there's a book you've always wanted to do for 10 years, and you know that it's going to be longer than that, no worries. We'll get really clear about that on the roadmap call, because again, that's about brainstorming all of your chapter titles. We'll know exactly what it will be. But for this specific program, which is, I would say, 9 out of 10 people that we work with, this program is perfect, right? So 120 to 140 page book, 5 1/4 by 8. And so what I want to offer you is fast action bonuses. If you're clear, now is the time. I want to do this. I want to give you these bonuses, because a lot of people, they help people write books and then they just leave them there. And I never want to do that to anybody, ever. And so what I want to do is to give you the way that you can use your book as a business card. What is the exact language that you will give the book out with, where you don't talk the person's ear off when they say, "What do you do?" And you don't talk their ear off when they ask you to expand a little bit more. And then you give them the book, and you give it with an offer that they can't refuse, so that they'll either read the book, love you, and call you to get the free thing that you offered them, or they'll throw it on the table, and every time they pass the book, it harasses them to call you until they get the free thing. So I'll teach you that whole process and how to use your book as a business card. Value of that is $1,500. How to easily obtain high-profile endorsement quotes. We went through that on one of the webinars. Maybe you weren't on that webinar, or maybe you were, but it went by really fast. So I'll teach you that, how to easily obtain high-profile endorsements. Value of that is, I would say, worth $1 million, but I had to put some value on it. So value would be $1,200 for that. I mean, high-profile endorsements are worth everything. How to pre-sell your book at live events. How to pre-sell your book at live events. Maybe your book's it's not done yet. We're still working on it, and you get booked at a live event. What do? I'll teach you how to pre-sale it and give you the template for the sales form, and I'll give you the bonuses to offer them as an ethical bribe. So they buy your book at the event for $40 with shipping, and they get hundreds of dollars worth of free stuff. Sound good? Also, how to sell your book at live events. Shannon can tell you this is invaluable, this process. So how do you sell your books at every live event that you're speaking at? You make sure that 60 to 80% of the room leaves with your book. I can teach you that, and that's also a value of $1,200. I'll give you that as a fast action bonus. How to turn your book into 11 different products. I went through that today. How to turn your book into a 5-week online course. I break that down very specifically and give you templates of how to do it. So how to lay out your book and exactly how to do that 5-week course piece that I kind of went over really fast earlier. Website banner and a book cover thumbnail photos. So we'll give you the website banner and then all the photos of the front cover of your book at different sizes, because you'll need different sizes, and it's just good to have those ahead of time so that you don't have to go try to figure out how to make a book this big, right? I don't want you to have to do that, so we'll just provide those. And also going to give you an instant download of our You Make a Difference 50 Heart-Centered Entrepreneurs Share Their Stories of Inspiration and Transformation ebook. Really great book. So many incredible people that I know that have businesses. And so I picked their brain and asked them, how do they get through the tough times? And what miracles have they seen? And the questions that you would want to ask business owners. So all of those bonuses value $8,025. Over $8,000 in bonuses. And remember I shared with you previously in a webinar that it's not what we say about our book, or it's not what we say about our business, it's what other people say. So I want you to see what some other people have said about working with us, and especially with the programs. This is the easiest writing the book has ever been for me, says Terry Levine. She had written 17 best-selling books by herself before doing the You Speak It program. And that's what she says about You Speak It. Easiest writing the book's ever been for her. Having and using the world's greatest business card will change your life and business forever, says Ronnie K. Prasad, best-selling author of Welcome to Your Life. Thanks to Keith Leon, the book guy, for helping me to write this book. He took something I thought was going to be hard and made it easy. I cannot thank him enough for his mentorship and friendship, says Edward Chauvin, author of I'm Worried Sick About My Health, How to Get and Stay Healthy Without Spending a Fortune. And last but not least is David W. Adams. He's a chiropractor. He said, thank you, You Speak It Publishing, for helping me get my book completed. I would have never gotten it done without you. I appreciate you. You're making a huge impact. Don't forget that. So the You Speak It program, the total value of that program is $28,025. The investment is $9,995. That's what you would pay any place except for right now. You either came to this webinar from CEO Space or you came from Shannon's event, one of those two places. And because of that, I absolutely want to give you the best price that I can. So the special offer for you is $7,995. So you're clear that it's time to get your book done. You're clear that now is the time you want to get started. Write down this link exactly the way that I have it written. So it's http://tinyurl.com/YSI, which stands for You Speak It, YSI special. to click that link and go make that investment, and we'll get started right away. So it's tinyurl.com/YSI special. And again, the home study course was Bake Your Book Now. BakeYourBookNow.com. So that's the quickest way that I know to either get your book done if you want to write it for the least amount of investment. And then this is the quickest way that I know where you don't even have to put pen to paper. So http:// I always say // but people tell me forward is redundant now. There's only forward. So http:// tinyurl.com/YSI special. I want to thank you for coming to this webinar, for coming to the previous webinar. It's been my pleasure to teach you. I want you to know that the things that I've been sharing in these 3 webinars that I did in the last 2 weeks are only things that I have sold in the past. A lot of these things that I've been sharing with you have only been part of paid programs. This is the secret sauce. These are things that I've been sharing with you because Shannon asked me to give you the most value that I absolutely could. And that's what I've done, and it's been my pleasure. So thank you for showing up to this webinar. And Shannon, what do you think? Do we have time for questions, or shall we wrap it up?
We just have a couple of people, so if they want, it's up. Yeah, I'm okay with a question.
All right. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap this up? You got muted, Shannon. There we go.
Okay. Elizabeth, did you have any questions?
Oh, God. So I haven't even started my business, my coaching practice. It's not even birthday.
Somebody's watching this and they need a payment plan, then just sign up for a strategy session and we'll talk about that.
What's the strategy session? Can you give that information on that again?
Yeah, it is youspeakitprogram.com/call. youspeakitprogram.com/call. And then you can sign up for a strategy session and we can talk about what that looks like. Because for us, it's, $14.95 deposit. That's the investment to get started. And then we just see what it would look like from there. We've been known to break it down into up to 6 different payments. As long as it's handled before you get your books, we're good to go, because we just want to make sure that you're able to get started, which is the most important part. The only way to finish a book is to get started. Okay? And the only good book is one I can hold in my hands.
Yeah.
Done, it's completed, I can hold it in my hands. So for us, we know that getting started is the most important piece.
But what did you say? You speak it program /
youspeakitprogram.com
I'll put it in the chat room.
/strategy. /call. It's been a long day. youspeakitprogram.com/call.
Okay. Thank you so much, Keith, for all that you do. I know just your roadmap process. I've talked to individuals that it's so beautiful that you have created something that somebody can just show up, trust the process, allow, and it's like everybody I've talked to has raved about it.
Yeah, it's an amazing process, and in the reference of this particular program, the You Speak It book program, I did that process too, and just created a book that just came out called The World's Greatest Business Card, because we created it, but I was like, I want to do the process. And so I did. I just showed up and I just went through the process with the team leading me through it, and it was amazing. It was the easiest that it's ever been for me to write a book, for sure. So now I'm really excited to share it with people because I've done it myself.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it was so fun. I had Mara do it with me. It was so fun. Well, I really would love to work with you and to support you, and not only getting the book done, but to help you turn it into all the programs and products, and help you kind of do all of that that I know that you want to do, to help you formulate what that would look like, and what price points would you have people invest for that, and all of that. So